Hello, everybody, and we're back. My name is Alyssa. I am a host of the F.E.E.D, Faces of Epilepsy Every Day, with co-host here, Lisa LG. Hi.
Hi, I love you.
I love you too. And we also have our producer, Mike, here with us as well. Thank you very, very much for doing this. We appreciate you so much.
Yeah, we could not do this without Mike. Liz, it is so good to have you back. I
Thank
know that you had a
you.
seizure last week, and we're so sorry about that, but
Thank you.
so glad to have you back. And yes, as Alyssa said, Mike, we thank God for your life so much so, for without you being our producer in the background and really coming up with this brilliant idea to have a podcast for epileptics all over the world. Over 50 million epileptics in our world, 3.4 million just in the USA alone, Alyssa, and
Wow.
1 out of 26 now is being diagnosed with epilepsy. So that means there are people that are having seizures
Wow.
and that are actually passing away of seizures, but yet are not diagnosed with epilepsy. And 1 out of every 10 will have a seizure at some point in their life. 1 out of 10. So,
That's a lot.
yeah. So the numbers are trending up. And so it's really, really important that we have a podcast that is
Yeah.
all things epilepsy.
Yeah.
And I'm actually really excited to talk to you today about this subject
Yes, me
around
too.
epilepsy and dating. Because I'm not an
Ooh.
epileptic, right? But
Mhm.
I have a son that had epilepsy
Yeah.
and passed away of epilepsy of SUDEP. However, I saw the girlfriends he had. None of them had epilepsy until the last girlfriend that he had leading up to his passing
Mhm.
was epileptic.
Yeah.
And they were on the same medication and they were inseparable and they just like connected and got each other because they were both, they could relate to each other
Yeah. And when
because
you
they
can relate to
understood
each other,
epilepsy. It was like, oh my gosh, you're an epileptic. I am too.
mhm.
So I want to unpack this amazing discussion today around dating because you are an epileptic and
Mhm.
you were diagnosed later in life,
Yeah.
whereas Judah was diagnosed younger in life. So maybe we could even talk about that today about, dating prior to being epileptic and then dating after epilepsy. Is that okay today? Can we get into this subject?
Absolutely. 100%. I am an open book when it comes to my epilepsy as well. And first to start off, I was diagnosed with epilepsy 2020, 2021. And so when I was dating in high school, it was super, easy. I just, get a boyfriend, we start dating, everything is fine. Once we had the barrier of epilepsy, I didn't really understand how it could affect me until recently, to be honest, because I was on a whole bunch of different medications that kind of changed my personality and the way that I thought about things and just anything in general. And the boyfriends that I've had since I've had epilepsy, um, they just they didn't really I guess care that I had epilepsy,
Mhm.
which I get is a good and bad thing, I would
Mhm.
say. Like, they
What you
wanted.
mean is they didn't care that you had epilepsy, meaning
Yeah,
that it didn't bother
it
they weren't
didn't bother
bothered by
them.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
didn't bother. Okay,
they weren't bothered by it,
right. They
and
weren't scared
I
away.
was I was shocked
Okay.
because I was like, "Oh, wait, you're not afraid that I do this sometimes?" And
Mhm.
they're like, "No." Or if they were, they just never told me.
Mhm,
There
mhm,
was one guy that I was seeing that told me that they were scared, but they were willing to understand it and learn about it because they cared a lot about me. Um,
mhm,
but when it came to actually dating and, like, making dating profiles and all of that stuff,
mhm,
I actually haven't had somebody bring up my epilepsy at all. And
mhm,
I'm curious to see what other people's perspectives are too on this subject, because I know that I'm not the only one dating with
Mhm,
epilepsy.
mhm,
Um, but also my type of epilepsy is resistant to a
mhm,
lot of medications and stuff like that. So when I do bring up having epilepsy to a significant other,
mhm,
I explain to them, "Hey, listen, this isn't controlled.
mhm,
So we are trying to get it to be controlled." And for the
mhm,
most
mhm,
part, they'll want to help. They'll
mhm,
actually want to become one with me and go through it with me. And I feel like that is the most a significant other could do, like
mhm,
being supportive and actually caring about the person in front of you, you know? That's all I ever wanted.
mhm.
And my dating life has honestly been totally fine. Right now, I'm kinda taking a break because I just need to get better. But if something comes around, if something comes along, I'm not gonna, ignore it either. So I'm very much everything happens, for the purpose, right? So
Yes, that's right. So with regard to dating, has anybody ever that you were dating seen you have a seizure?
yes.
How
I
was
would
that?
say, um I remember, I think, all of my boyfriends that have, dated me have seen me go into episodes and stuff, and
Mhm,
they've handled it pretty well, to be
mhm,
honest.
mhm,
They knew what to do, they knew how to, like, put me on my side or what
mhm,
type of
mhm,
epilepsy or what type of seizure it was, because I do have
mhm,
different types.
mhm,
Um, but I do remember them telling me that they were nervous, but
mhm.
it didn't matter because they cared about me and they just wanted to make sure that I was, safe. Um, but
So
yeah,
when was the right time to tell them that you had epilepsy? In other words, did you tell them right away, like the first, second date, or do you wait until you have a seizure and then they go, "Oh, she has having a seizure. She's epileptic."
yeah. So personally for me, I tell them right away because I have nothing to hide. If
Yeah.
they can't accept me for what I have and who I am, then they don't deserve to be dating me. And some people might feel more comfortable telling them a couple of dates after. I understand that too. I do. Do
Mhm.
whatever you feel is comfortable for you. But I say I'm not going to, I'm gonna leave it all out there. I have nothing to hide. Also, God forbid you do have a seizure,
Mhm,
they
mhm.
need to be aware, you know?
Yeah,
I feel like
definitely.
it is very important for us to disclose the fact that we do have epilepsy relatively soon. I wanna know your
Mhm,
guys'
mhm,
thoughts on this too. Let me know what
mhm,
you guys think. Um,
mhm,
but yeah, I would say right away, 'cause I don't have anything to hide, and my epilepsy is a part of me now, and it has changed me in a lot of ways, but I see it as a good thing. I see it as I see everything as the glass half full. I just made a post about this on Instagram
mhm,
too. I make sure that even in dating, they are comfortable with the
mhm,
fact
mhm,
that I have epilepsy as well, and if they need to know anything or, like, if they're making me feel uncomfortable,
mhm,
what they were doing, or if what they're doing is making me have, auras or something, I
mhm,
always make sure that they are
mhm.
able to communicate that to me, vice versa.
So, do you think that the epilepsy, because you were diagnosed later in life, so you were obviously dating when you didn't have epilepsy,
Mhm.
and then you became epileptic, and I know that obviously that put a stop to your driving. Did that play a part in your self-esteem, or
The driving, not being able to
yeah, the
drive?
driving, and then just dating? Did it mess with your confidence at all?
Yeah.
Going from someone that had the freedom of driving and independence, right? Of dating, you can like meet the person somewhere, right? Versus now you can't drive. Does that play a part in dating and how you actually date?
Wow.
right? And then the self-confidence and self-esteem, or was that like not a big deal to you?
That is an amazing question. Yeah, 100%. When
Hmm.
I was younger in high school, when I had my license, I barely even drove anyway because I'm 5 foot, barely see over the steering wheel, and I laugh about that.
Love
But,
it.
but the fact that I can't even get in the car and drive to my friend's house, I feel like I'm a burden, or I used
Yeah.
to feel. I'm gonna change that. I
Mhm,
used to feel
mhm,
like I was a burden to everybody in my life, especially my significant other.
mhm,
And dating with epilepsy, with not being able to drive, um, and having this in general, it has definitely put a damper and insecurities on me that I never had before. And a
mhm,
big insecurity that I recently got over was just my looks, the way that I even view myself,
mhm,
because epilepsy drains the living
mhm, mhm,
crap out of
mhm,
you. The living crap out of you.
mhm,
Like I said, I had a grand mal
mhm,
seizure last week. I
mhm,
wasn't really able to do anything until maybe yesterday. Today was the day
yeah.
I felt capable of actually coming on here and talking,
Mhm, mhm,
because our original date,
mhm,
I couldn't even open my eyes.
mhm,
So bringing another person into this and
mhm,
driving and dating and seeing
mhm,
my confidence level go down, and trying to act or feel a certain way when I know that I didn't,
mhm, mhm,
was probably the hardest thing, and also finding a significant other as well,
mhm,
because somebody can see if you are self-conscious or insecure or anything.
mhm,
They can. At
mhm,
least I believe that. You can see it on people,
mhm,
um, easily sometimes. And for me, I 100% believe that being diagnosed has put a wedge in between my dating
mhm.
experience.
Yeah.
And I do, I will say it's getting a lot easier now that I'm gaining my confidence back.
Mhm, mhm,
Because when you're not getting a lot of rest, you feel
mhm,
like you're dragging along. Your
mhm,
under eyes are like
mhm,
feeling
mhm,
like there's black circles under your
mhm,
eyes.
mhm,
I feel like my hair isn't as thick and long as it used to be.
mhm,
Like,
mhm,
there are so many things that epilepsy can
mhm,
put a damper on your dating life, you know?
mhm,
Um, but again, like I said, I put myself all out there, and if they don't like it, they don't like it.
mhm.
That's on them. Um, but yeah, I feel like I can go on and on about this.
So
I
the people that you dated, did you feel that you were like there was an equality issue? In other words, because you have epilepsy and they do not, do you ever feel like you're less than them, or did they ever make you feel like you were?
I have never been asked these questions before, and hearing that out loud, it seems like I should say yes, but now I'm really thinking about it, and I'm like, I haven't actually felt less than in my dating life, and
Mhm,
um, like the boyfriends that I've had in the past, they ended for other reasons, not so much
mhm,
because of my
mhm,
epilepsy. I made sure of
mhm,
that. It
mhm,
wasn't
mhm,
because of something that
mhm,
I had in my ailment.
mhm,
Um,
mhm,
but to answer your question, um, not so far. No, I haven't felt like it has really, um, I guess, put a damper on things. And for most people, I don't know, I could be,
mhm, mhm,
having a very different perspective,
mhm,
and
mhm,
I'm very happy and glad that I'm able to say that my experience in that has felt like I've been accepted, felt like I've been loved and held and cherished. There have been times where I felt
mhm,
insecure about my relationship with
Mhm,
myself.
mhm,
But when it came to my relationship and them with dating and having epilepsy, I always felt secure knowing that they were going to take care of me, or I never really felt insecure being with them because of having epilepsy. I actually, when was first diagnosed,
mhm,
when I was first diagnosed, I,
mhm, mhm,
but once I finally got into the
mhm,
relationship, it's a lot easier than a lot of people think. It could be very scary and daunting when you're first starting dating with epilepsy, or you have any sort of chronic illness.
mhm, mhm.
It's terrifying because, yeah, you are different. You are 100% different than the person that you could be potentially dating. But as long as you guys have great communication, that's all that
Mhm.
matters, I
Yeah.
think.
I think actually could be very empowering. And I think that's the beautiful thing about what what your experience has been is so empowering because you're able to say, no, that has not limited me. So if you were speaking into those that are listening that have just been diagnosed with epilepsy or they have not dated, because they're maybe afraid nobody's going to want to care for me. Nobody's going to want to marry me. Nobody's going to want to have children with me. They're thinking all these thoughts, right? Going through their own minds about their epilepsy. And I would actually love for Mike to come in on this question because he is married and he is an epileptic. And I wonder if he's ever thought about that with regard to having children. Would his children have epilepsy? And I guess that's my question for you is it seems like it could be very empowering if you choose to put your mind in the right space. Is that what you're telling us today?
Yes. 100%. You
Mm,
have to put yourself in that right mindset, knowing that you are worthy, knowing that you are deserving of a relationship to be had, and trust yourself that you are capable of giving and
mm,
receiving that type of love, because you are worthy and deserving of everything. And just because you have epilepsy or another chronic illness does not mean you aren't worthy of having that relationship.
What
Absolutely.
a beautiful episode today, Mike. I'm actually getting emotional, and I'm not an epileptic, like I said, but I saw my son and Haley have this love the last 30 days of his life. I mean, she was the last person that he spoke to because they would sit on their phones at nighttime on FaceTime, putting each other to sleep. Um, so I became very close with her. I talked to her every single day. She's like a daughter of mine because of her epilepsy, and because of me becoming an advocate for epilepsy in this community that I just have fallen in love with. I just think you are all incredible warriors.
We love
And
you.
I can't imagine that at times, Mike, people with epilepsy, this question has not come up for them when they're dating somebody with epilepsy or they have epilepsy themselves, how people would feel if they were in a long-term relationship with them. Mike, you are married, your wife does not have epilepsy but you do, and has this ever come across your mind as far as, am I lovable? Can I be loved? And will this person want to even have children with me, knowing that there could be, possibility that our children could have epilepsy? What do you think about this conversation today, Mike?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And as we've been through it, uh, a lot of it, not to sound too cliche, is finding the right person. And a lot of times you don't think they'll even maybe ever exist.
Mhm,
But they do, and you will, because God has created that for you. And I think
mhm,
it's important to understand, a lot of people have epilepsy. Like, one of the things I love about what you do, Lisa, is show us and remind us of all the successful
mhm,
people that have epilepsy or
mhm,
have had it,
Mhm.
and how it doesn't hinder them to be extremely successful. And
mhm,
then that's what we're doing here, is showing that real people can really,
mhm,
not just survive but thrive and have great opportunities. And then once again, being with someone like us who is a real benefit to other people in ways that, being with someone else isn't. And not only that, I think one of the great things that folks like us do is that we are really honest
Mhm.
and we're givers. And we understand trauma on a level that maybe a lot of people don't.
Mhm.
People I don't know, just watching a movie the other night and it was like, "Well, do you have deja vu? Do you feel odd?" And I was like, "They're
Mhm.
not talking to an epileptic." It was like somebody talking to somebody in a movie. And I was like, "We understand, we can help people
Mhm.
through that." When we go or when they go through those things, we're like, "Hey, I understand, might be weird for a second. Your balance might be off.
Mhm.
It's okay." If they have a family member that develops it or, God forbid themselves or whatever, we are great with that. We are great to help people. I had a friend recently whose son, he didn't have epilepsy. He got hit on the basketball court in the head
Mhm.
really bad, completely
Mhm.
knocked out,
Hmm.
caused a seizure, and then
Mhm.
he had all of the things, and they
Mhm.
were it was funny as they were describing, it was like, he just can't really remember his own name, and he will stare
Mhm.
off. I was like, we got this. I noticed
Mhm.
someone knew this is kind of, scary. We understand what this is. It'll come
Mhm.
back. Let me talk to you about
Mhm.
it. We were able
Mhm.
to help. So
Mhm.
there are benefits to being with someone like us that, you know, other people don't have. And then in addition to that, man, we are whole people with great lives. Alyssa,
Mhm.
I know you agree. We are awesome people with awesome lives and so much to give and a true benefit a lot of times because of the honesty and the strength that we have to face life. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It takes a lot of
Mhm.
strength and a lot of compassion
Mhm.
dealing with what we deal with every day. And the I honestly think that people who have epilepsy really do like speak to angels, speak to God because
Mhm.
I feel like our confidence level, especially
Mhm.
um with going through so many seizures or
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
I'm just going to use myself as an example.
Mhm.
I've had like hundreds of seizures now. I'll say,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
everyone is different.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
after everyone, I have to learn how to deal with my body in a different way, and I think
Mhm.
that is the most beautiful. The fact
Mhm.
that we are
Yeah.
capable as epileptics to change over time.
Mhm.
The fact that we are able to understand other people's perspectives, the
Mhm.
empathy
Mhm.
that we have, and like I said, just the strength. We can support one another, and the fact that we
Mhm.
have the feed now and you, me, Mike, I'm just
Mhm.
so happy that I found people like you guys to be able
Mhm.
to talk about with this kind of thing. And you guys who are listening right now, if you are going through a rough time having epilepsy, or if
Mhm.
you or family member, anybody,
Mhm.
send this podcast to them because I promise you
Mhm.
they need it. They need to hear it. And Lisa, is there anything else that you would like to say to the viewers today?
Yeah, I have another question for you. One more.
Absolutely.
Because I love this whole subject around dating and
Open book.
epilepsy. I just think it's so beautiful because we are so relational as humans, and humans are very complicated. And I love what Mike said. There is one person, that was created as, a perfect person for you. There is a helpmate. There is someone that God has created that is designed for you. And
Believe it.
Mike said it may not seem like it, but there is, you know. And I
Soulmate.
think that's what epileptics need to be encouraged about, is that if you are struggling and wobbly in this area of your own faith, believing that there is someone that can choose to love you, that it is possible. So, around that, has epilepsy taught you anything different, Alyssa, dating with epilepsy? Like the love relationship or how you do the relationship differently? Do you look for different things in that partner now with epilepsy versus before?
That's a great question. So, dating when I was younger, I didn't really understand it that much. I kind of was
Mhm.
just dating anybody who kind of talked to me or I thought
Mhm.
was attractive, and, I didn't
Mhm.
really care about anything other than looks, but obviously
That's how most people date, by the way. So I don't know every epilepsy community if that's an epilepsy thing, because everybody dates
true,
based on attraction and not based
true.
on purpose. So I'm wondering if there's something to that. Yeah.
True. But now having epilepsy, yeah, I've noticed that somebody I am more drawn to them or attracted to them if
Mhm.
they are willing to understand where I'm coming from or
Mhm.
how I deal with things on my own, explaining to them my perspective and what my epilepsy is and how I deal with my everyday
Mhm.
life,
Mhm. Mhm.
and them needing to be okay with that, because if they're
Mhm.
not, then
Yeah.
we're just not going to work out. Um,
Mhm.
I am, again, like I said, very open with the people that I let into my life when it comes to dating. I do notice that their perspective on um how they honestly eat, how
Mhm.
they treat their family, how they treat themselves, like how, like what they're putting in inside of their bodies. I look for everything now. Having epilepsy has changed a
Yeah,
lot in what I look for
I'm
in
sure.
a human being,
Mhm.
regardless of if they have epilepsy or not, like dating
Mhm.
wise. Um, and I no longer just look for the attraction level with looks. Um, I if they do have epilepsy, the person that I end up with,
Mhm.
meant to be. Like I will say, for the people that are struggling to find somebody right now, stop looking.
Mhm.
'Cause guess what? You weren't meant to find them at this time.
Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
100% am a firm believer in that. Once you stop looking, that person
Mhm.
will slowly make their way towards you. You won't even be expecting it. So I
So good. So,
mm,
so good. It's so, so true right there. That is no truer statement has been made than when you just stop looking for it and you just eventually will
just
just
expect
attract
it.
it into your life. Yeah.
Especially dating with epilepsy, because everybody is so they're worried that they're not going to find
Mhm.
somebody, but
Mhm.
guess what? You should don't worry about that, because you're low key pushing them farther away.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
you It's dealing with epilepsy and dating with epilepsy is coming to terms with the fact that you just need to accept that you have it at this
Mhm.
point. Just accept it and be open. That's my advice to you guys. Accept that you have this and be open about it, because that person who
Mhm.
is meant for you will come and love you regardless.
Well, there you have it. I think that was a great way to say it. You know what? Just get out ahead of it. Love and epilepsy. I think that's what this week is all about. I'm excited to see where this goes.
Yeah, me too.
Alyssa, this has been an amazing, amazing show today and topic around dating, and we've talked about it all week long. And I'm so thrilled to be able to just be a part of your journey, Mike's journey, and the journey of so many epileptics around the world. Can't wait to see where this show continues to go. And I'm sure we're going to have more guests on next week. And no more seizures for you, my dear.
No, please
Okay.
no.
Yeah.
Thank
We
you
want
so
it
much.
seizure free 2026.
Yes, absolutely. I'm praying for all of you guys. It is
Yeah.
such an honor to be on.
Yeah. Well, we love you. Well, that's about it. We'll see you back here next week. We love all of you.
Love you
And
guys.
from all of us here at the Feed, Mike, Alyssa, and Lisa, we love all of you guys. Have a great, great rest of your weekend.
Yes. Goodbye, guys.